amigos? Bienvenidos a otra nueva edición de Hoy Wisconsin Today, este jueves 24 de octubre del 2024. El día de hoy tenemos una invitada muy especial. Tenemos con nosotros a Kelly Clark, que está lanzándose para la Asamblea del Distrito 33. Ella nos va a hablar de las razones por las cuales ella decidió correr en esta, vamos a decir, elecciones y también cómo ella quiere cambiar y ayudar a nuestra comunidad. Kelly es una enfermera practicante especializada. Prácticamente ella ha trabajado con la salud de muchos de nuestras personas en la comunidad a través del estado de Wisconsin. Pero antes de comenzar el programa y de introducir a Kelly Clark, les recordamos que este programa es patrocinado por Teres Cupido Salón y Flower Shop, que se encuentra ubicado en el 1223 y en el 1225 sur de la César Chávez Drive en Milwaukee, pero también tiene su tercera locación en el 1338 sur de la calle 11 en la mera esquina de la 11 y Greenfield. Así es que para hacer una introducción, también nosotros vamos a estar hablando más adelante acerca de cómo se va a estar celebrando el Día de Muertos en nuestra comunidad. La próxima semana vamos a tener una invitada muy especial que nos va a hablar acerca de cómo se prepara el dulce de semilla de calabaza, y ella se encuentra el día de hoy dando una presentación en Madison, pero tiene varias presentaciones aquí en Milwaukee muy pronto. Y también les recordamos que llega Halloween y que ya está la fiesta de Halloween a la vuelta de la esquina, y les recordamos que gran events en venue allá en lo que es Menasha, Wisconsin, va a estar realizando su Halloween Party at Dreams en el 325 Broad Street en Menasha. Y recuerde de que si usted comparte este link, se puede ganar lo que es una, como dicen ellos, un botecito de bebidas para que usted los disfrute. Así es que sin más preámbulo, queremos darle la bienvenida a Kelly Clark, quien se encuentra con nosotros el día de hoy. Así es que, Kelly, we want to welcome you to Hoy Wisconsin Today. I did the introduction in Spanish. You are in these elections, you are an independent candidate. And basically, you are working for all the community in the states of Wisconsin because you want to see a change. How are you tonight, Kelly?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Tell us a little about you, a little bit about you. Dinos un poquito acerca de ti, Kelly, para conocerte mejor. We want to get you know better.
Sure. So I like to let everybody know I'm not a politician. I'm a regular person. I'm a nurse practitioner and a business owner. I've worked hard my entire life. I've gone from being a single mom and using resources like WIC, Badger Care, Wisconsin Shares, Child Care Subsidy. I used all of that to put myself through nursing school. And I'm just a hardworking person. I have two boys, and well, they're young men now. And I got involved with the grassroots over the last number of years, and I was very frustrated to learn how very corrupt our government is. And I really feel that our representatives, very few of them really represent us anymore. They seem to represent their big donors, whether it's big pharma, big businesses, the special interests. They don't want to hear from us anymore, and that's not how it's supposed to be.
It's important, you know, for the community. You have been in the system as a regular person and working in the system as a professional. What do you think is the most important for our community to be successful professionally, or as a business owner, or as a person? Because sometimes we see that the doors are closed for our community.
Yeah.
And that system sometimes doesn't work or people don't get the help they need. Y lo que le pregunto yo a Kelly es que nos diga, a veces el sistema no funciona, a veces se nos cierran las puertas como personas, como profesionales, como dueños de negocios. Entonces, what do you want to change, Kelly? ¿Qué es lo que tú quieres cambiar?
Sure. So I think that one thing I've realized over time is that there's so much division in our government, and they manufacture. I think there are a lot of the issues that are out there are manufactured to divide us as people. But the reality is, when I talk to people, and I do every day in my job as a business owner, as a nurse practitioner, I realize that we actually have more in common than we don't. There's some those divisive issues that are always thrown our way, and they keep we as a community, they tear us apart. And the reality is, we are so much more alike than we are different. We want quality schools that our children can be prepared for a future they come out of, and they have some preparation for a future direction. We want safe streets. We want our children to be able to walk down the streets and ride their bikes down the streets without having to worry about them. We want safe food. We want these toxins, these toxic additives out of our food. We really just have so much more in common than we don't. And I really want to bring that back to government, working on those issues that we can all find common ground. We have that common, we can come together on and work together. We don't need to, there's just so much of that. Why don't we focus on that rather than those divisive issues that just tear us apart as a community?
Thank you, Kelly. And at this moment, I will translate and try to summarize what you are
Sure.
saying to our community, just to make sure our Spanish speakers can understand, how do you want to try to change things and make them better for our community. Le pregunté a Kelly qué quiere hacer para cambiar cosas en nuestra comunidad, ya que como el sistema a veces no funciona o no funciona como personas, como dueños de negocio o como profesionales. Kelly dice que quiere detener la división, que quiere ayudar prácticamente en la educación, a que haya mejores comidas, a que haya mejores servicios, a que hayan mejores recursos para la comunidad, ya que en este momento los gobiernos lo que hacen es dividirnos y tampoco nos están dando lo que nosotros necesitamos para que podamos desarrollarnos y crecernos aquí en nuestra comunidad. And I know, Kelly, that, I already asked you a few questions, but okay, and we talk a lot of different things that you can change and make them better. But what really inspired you to run for the office? Y le digo, estamos hablando de diferentes cosas y le pregunto a Kelly, ¿qué te inspiró para correr para esta carrera política? Go ahead, Kelly.
Sure. I think what inspired me was my frustration with how our government is now, and the fact that none of us really feel like we're being listened to. And I think it's important to talk to the people in your community, in the district you represent, or the region you represent, and see what it is that they want from government. Because right now, I don't feel, and I find many are challenged to answer the question as to what is our government doing to help us, the everyday person. And unfortunately, it's very hard to name anything. And we need to, and I think that bringing our government working for us is important. And the only way we know that is we have representatives who talk to the people, all the different people in the community, the different neighborhoods of different ethnicities, different socioeconomic backgrounds. What do they need? What is their community in need of? What can the government do to help them? Where do they find they're struggling? And listen to people and see what can be done based on that.
Thank you, Kelly. Entonces dice Kelly, I will translate for our Spanish speaking viewers. Kelly nos dice que ella se inspiró en correr para esta carrera política. Por la parte de esto es la frustración de los gobiernos, lo que están haciendo. Lógicamente ella quiere que la comunidad tenga un beneficio mejor, que la comunidad pueda desarrollarse y como en este momento estamos viendo tanta división prácticamente, entonces quiere ella de tratar de hacer las cosas mejor para nuestra comunidad. Now, Kelly, something important also, do you feel that we're the Latinos, okay, this is, do you feel or fit the most, like, because they are a key for this election, Kelly?
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
feel about
I
the voto Latino?
Yeah, the Latino community is very important. They're growing. They are what I've found, and I have several people working with me on my campaign that are Latino, and I've learned so much from them and about issues in the community. And we have a very, I would say, a fairly larger and growing size Latino community in my district. Burlington, one area of the district, they're upwards of, I believe, about 10%. And the Lake Geneva area is about 14%. That's significant. And the Latino community, what I'm learning, and I have a lot more to learn, but what I have learned is that they have issues that really do pertain to them. And they overall are not they're not being heard. They don't feel like they are being heard. And I think that they represent a large portion of the district, and they need their voices to be they need to be heard, they need to be listened to, and their voices need to be respected.
Thank you. Entonces le pregunté la importancia del voto latino, si cómo le puede hacer el voto latino quizás el cambio. Y ella me dice que en nuestra comunidad, especialmente en Burlington y en Delavan, en esas dos, porque ella está corriendo para el Distrito 33, hay entre 10 a 14% de latinos. Y también ella tiene latinos trabajando en su campaña que le han expresado todos esos problemas y cambios que necesita la comunidad latina, porque la comunidad latina es grande y hay esta comunidad a través de todo el estado de Wisconsin que necesita muchas cosas y ella quiere cambiarlas porque sabe que la comunidad latina también está creciendo. ¿Y cuáles son esas, vamos a decir, puntos o problemas en los que te quieres enfocar en tu plataforma? What are some of the key issues you are focusing on in your platform, Kelly?
Sure. One thing that I think is interesting and really has been an issue that all sorts of people can get on board with. And I had mentioned I'm a nurse practitioner, and I know my practice, my business is focused on more preventative medicine. What can we do to prevent going in the emergency department or to the doctor? And my background prior to my business was as an ER nurse and then as an ER nurse practitioner. And I've realized a lot of it has to do with the food that we eat, and providing people guidance is what I do for my job. I have two practices, one in Mount Pleasant and one in Greenfield, Wisconsin. And we provide that sort of counseling and coaching to help people learn how to eat well. But the problem is our food these days has so many toxic additives that are not allowed in other countries. There's over 1,000 toxic food additives that are banned in the European Union and to a lesser extent in some other countries, but they're all allowed in our food supply. And here's the thing, many of those toxic additives are they are in what is included in our national school lunch program. So our children are being exposed to them on a daily basis. And sometimes several times a day. And our agencies that are tasked to protect us aren't doing that. And we can do something at the state level. Other states have, like California. We need to do that here. We need to protect the health and wellness of everyone, but particularly our children.
Claro. Voy a traducir. Kelly, I will translate and summarize a little bit of what did you say for our Spanish speaking viewers. Entonces, una de las cosas, como les preguntamos, fue cuál es su enfoque, qué problemas. Ella nos habla de la salud. Ella ha sido enfermera de emergencias. Ella ha trabajado en hospitales. Ella ahora practica lo que es ayudar a las personas para llevar una vida saludable con la nutrición y la alimentación, porque se ha dado cuenta que hay muchos aditivos en las comidas que hacen daño. Hay más de 1000 y aparte de eso, esas comidas son servidas en las escuelas y nuestros niños son los que están siendo afectados por la alimentación en las escuelas. Entonces, ella quiere cambiar también tanto en las escuelas, los programas de alimentación para comer comida saludable, pero ella tiene 2 oficinas, una en Greenfield y la otra la tiene, si no me equivoco, fue en Hartford. Did you say Hartford? Just to verify, what is
Oh,
your other clinic? Greenfield
Greenfield,
and
Mount
it's
Pleasant, and Racine.
en Mount Pleasant, en Racine.
Mhm.
Ok, perfecto. En esas 2 clínicas, ella está tratando a personas para ayudarles con la salud y su alimentación, porque todas las enfermedades que tenemos son por las comidas. Y entonces lo que quiere es ella agregar lo que es la medicina preventiva, prevenir antes de lamentar para que no paremos en los lugares, vamos a decir, en los hospitales, en emergencias, por la mala alimentación que tenemos. Y ahora, in your opinion, what are the biggest challenges facing the Latino community? I know we talked a little bit before. Yo sé que hablamos un poquito más acerca de cuáles son esos, vamos a decir, problemas que enfrenta la comunidad, but we want to hear more. If you can probably line up 2 or 3 that you feel are, the Latino community is facing.
Sure. Sure. So as there's a lot I have to learn but like I said, I'm working with some fantastic people who are on my campaign team who are Latino, and I'm learning a lot from them. And of course, in my job, I work with many Latino, but we don't always talk about, what their needs are from their government, But what I have found that a big thing is they feel that they're not being listened to. They have issues that seem to have persisted for some time, whether it is, and this would be more the federal level depending on their status as far as if they're seeking to be a U.S. citizen, how long and lengthy the process is. But also, generally speaking, what I'm hearing is they don't feel they have a voice. And that's what I want to do. I want to dig into their community in the best of ways and really find out what is it that they need. What can I help them with as a state, in the state government? Because I think there's a lot that needs to be done and can be done. And that's going to take time and it's going to take effort, which I'm completely look forward to, if elected, to really find out what do they need and what can I do for them at the state level. And it's really it's something, unfortunately, I don't feel like we hear from many of our lawmakers that really specifically talk about our Latino community and what their needs are. And what does that tell you? I don't think they're being listened to. I don't think they're seeking their input.
Y lo que Kelly nos dice es de que básicamente ella no ve que los políticos estén hablando de cuáles son esas necesidades de la comunidad latina. Muchos latinos piensan que no tienen voz, que no están siendo escuchados. Y prácticamente yo le dije, ¿cuáles pueden mencionar 1 o 2 problemas que tú creas que los latinos están enfrentando? Una cosa fue la legalización. Entonces, que es muy importante. Ella quiere involucrarse más y conocer más a los latinos, ya que en su equipo tiene muchos latinos, para saber y poder resolver cuáles son esos problemas. Entonces, I summarize a little bit, Kelly, but I have a question.
Yes.
Something that the Latinos been working for a long time is to bring the driver license back to the state of Wisconsin. not only for legal immigrants, it's also for the non-legal immigrants, because with a
Mhm.
driver license,
Yes.
people will be allowed to have the vehicle registered, but at the same time, they will have more, I will say, benefits, because they can buy car insurance. And many
Yes.
people are driving on the street without a driver license and without insurance.
Right.
Do you feel like that's something important for your campaign? Y le pregunté a Kelly,
You
mucha
know,
de nuestra
I'm gonna
gente,
I'll oh go I'm
go
sorry. I'm
ahead,
sorry. Go ahead.
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
I I I'll tell you what. I had no idea until I started with my campaign, and I'm working with those in the Latino community, and they're educating me on this. I I didn't know, and I don't think a lot of people realize that the Latino community, particularly those who are working on becoming a citizen, or here undocumented, but are they're part of the community. Many they've set roots in the community. Their children go to the school, local community schools. They work in the community. They're contributing to society. I was actually very surprised to know that there was not a way for them to achieve to obtain a legal way to drive in this state. And I've done some research on the matter and looking into other states that have passed laws that have allowed the community to seeking a driver's license to do so. And I think there's right ways that this can be done, that that can make, I know there's division in this issue, but why can't we find a way to make this happen, and allow people to drive their children to school without having to worry about being pulled over? That's absurd to me. These are people who've set roots in the community. They are living there. This is their home, and they can't get a legal way to drive. Whether, I know Illinois has like a driver's ID type thing, and it very clearly
Mhm.
says, if I recall correctly, like driving only, or for something noting on there that's very
Correct.
clear. And they shouldn't have to worry when they leave their home to bring their children to school, or pick them up, or take them, to a friend's house, that they could get pulled over and have a legal issue on their hands.
Thank you, Kelly. Y yo le pregunté a Kelly sobre las licencias de conducir. Ella dice, estoy aprendiendo, estoy conociendo mucho acerca de que muchas personas tienen años de estar aquí en este país y no pueden obtener una licencia de conducir. Ella dice que ella está de acuerdo y ella lucharía porque se haga que tengan licencias de conducir aquí en el estado de Wisconsin, ya que en el estado de Illinois hay un permiso en el cual, si ella más o menos se recuerda, dice solamente permitido para manejar, pero esa persona puede llevar a sus hijos a la escuela, puede ir a trabajar y no se tiene que preocupar. Y eso es lo que ella quiere también aquí en el estado de Wisconsin, que se pueda lograr que los latinos inmigrantes puedan tener una licencia de conducir y no tener el miedo de que los vaya a detener la policía. And Kelly, why do you think government has not, it's just, I know you may not know the answer, but I know you work really hard in both, according to your bio. Um,
Yeah.
why do you think they do not agree to have that people have a valid driver license if they are paying taxes because they are working? Many people do their taxes. They do not get, because sometimes people, they just randomly say, people who don't know, that they are taking away all the food stamps and all the government help. And to be honest, only residents and US citizens qualify for those, or maybe the kids. But
Hmm.
sometimes people think, oh, immigrants can get all the benefits. And I want to translate this in Spanish just to make sure people understand what are we talking about.
Yep.
And and then why these people cannot have the opportunity to have a valid driver license, you know, because it's important. Entonces yo le digo, si ella sabe por qué, si ella ha trabajado y conoce un poquito más a los dos partidos, al demócrata y al republicano, porque ellos nunca se han puesto de acuerdo para que puedan haber licencias de conducir para nuestra gente, porque mucha de nuestra gente trabaja, paga impuestos. Hay una, vamos a decir, como un tabú erróneo donde hablan y dicen que en nuestra comunidad ellos agarran los beneficios de estampillas, que los beneficios de gobierno y todo ese tipo de cosas que realmente no es verdad, porque solamente ciudadanos y residentes califican, quizás a veces los hijos de ciudadanos, pero ¿por qué entonces estas personas no pueden tener una licencia de conducir? Then, go ahead, Kelly.
Sure. You know, Mariela, that's a great question. And I think a big part of the problem is that nobody's being told the whole story. You know, they're using this as a division tactic. They're telling one side one half of the story, the other side another half. And that's where I believe transparency and honesty needs to come in. We need to educate the people. Like I said, I didn't realize that until a few months ago. How many others don't realize it? I can guarantee you it's a lot. There needs to be education, honest education, because I think a reasonable person would when told about what is going on and how this particular segment of our population, despite working, paying taxes, is not able to get a driver's license. And as you know, in the state of Wisconsin, you have to have insurance, right? And these
Correct.
folks aren't even, or car insurance, these folks aren't even allowed the opportunity to do that if they don't have a driver's ID. And so I think there needs to be a way we educate people, let them know the truth, let them know, where, and allow an open dialogue to occur so that they can say, okay, what are your concerns? Okay, let's address those. There's ways. We don't want it to be mistaken as an ID where they can go vote. Okay, well, look at how other states are doing it and how it's
Correct.
very well marked on the ID. I think there's ways that we can get around these perceived obstacles if we come together and we're honest about it to the people and really explain it to them without trying to just tell one half of the story, which again leads to the division that's a big problem in our society right now.
Thank you, Kelly. Y Kelly nos dice que quizás hay muchas personas o candidatos políticos que no saben que quizás no hay licencias de conducir y dice de que lo que ella quisiera es de que se hablara y se planteara y se discutiera razón, motivo y circunstancias por la cual una licencia de conducir es necesaria. Hacerlo igual como lo hacen otros estados, que en otros estados como ejemplo Illinois, ahí dice no es un ID para votar, porque para que no haya la confusión de que quizás personas que no puedan votar, sino que haga algo que haga diferente ese ID, pero que a la misma vez le permita a las personas ser parte de la comunidad y tener esa licencia que también les permita tener aseguranza, ya que aquí en el estado de Wisconsin se supone que debe de uno de tener una aseguranza de vehículo y muchas personas no tienen una licencia de conducir, mucho menos pueden obtener un seguro para su vehículo. Entonces, se debe de buscar una solución y hay que buscar una solución y esa es lo que ella quiere hacer. And Kelly, to close tonight, why it's important el voto latino? Y le pregunto a Kelly, ¿por qué es importante el voto latino?
Yes. So we know that America is a country of immigrants, and some came earlier and some came later. And the Latino community is very much become part of the fabric of the United States. And they need, I want them to have a say, as they should have a say in how our country runs and works. And the way that they do that is by electing people that they feel represents them. And they are important. Their community has grown. They have set roots in the community. And as such, they should be part of that in the decisions made in the community. And that means electing people who represent them. That's why it is so important for them to get out and vote, because their voice does matter. And that's a big way to make your voice heard, is to get out and vote. In other ways, like I said, if I get in office and I have that opportunity, I will definitely talk to the Latino community and find a way that we can communicate on a regular basis, so that I am engaged in in what their needs are, where they're finding that things are going better, where things might be hopefully not, but going worse. But if they are, knowing there is that open dialogue, and it is so important for them to vote. Tu voto es importante. Sorry,
Thank
not
you.
the best
Thank
Spanish.
you. You did it really good. Tu voto es importante. I love that, Kelly, because that you are sending this great message to our community. Tu voto es importante, because we need
Hmm.
people to go out and vote. They need to be here in this election. And if
Hmm.
and please, one more time, I know I mentioned that you are running for assembly for
Yep.
33 district, but please,
33rd.
one, yeah, 33. Then 33 Distrito de la Asamblea 33, one more time. Kelly, we are happy to have you. And then you are an independent. You
Yes.
are not a Democrat. You are not a Republican. You are
No.
an independent
Hmm.
individual that is running for these elections to
Yep.
make a change. Please, one more time, tell the community why they have to vote for you, Kelly.
Sure. I'm running as an independent because I want to bring the people together. We have so much division in politics between the two sides, when in reality, we agree on so much. And I'm running as an independent to bridge that gap and hopefully find that common ground and start doing things in government that everyone can get on board with, and stop with the division and really start to make progress for the betterment of not only our community, but our state. And so where you're normally going to see two people running for an office, the Republican and the Democrat. I'm the independent. I'm the third choice, and I hope you will consider me, if you live in the 33rd Assembly District, as someone who you would like to represent you.
Thank you, Kelly. I will translate that for our
Okay.
Spanish speaking viewers. Entonces, Kelly está corriendo para el distrito de la Asamblea 33. Ella es la candidata independiente. Usted va a ver al candidato demócrata y va a ver al republicano, pero ella es la tercera opción. Ella es bipartidista, o sea que no corre para ningún partido. Ella quiere hacer el cambio, quiere que escuchen nuestra voz. Así que si usted puede votar en el distrito 33, hágalo y vote por Kelly, porque ella quiere hacer un cambio en nuestra comunidad. Ella quiere aprender acerca de nuestra comunidad, quiere regresar la oportunidad de que tengas licencia de conducir, quiere aprender acerca del sistema de legalización y quiere saber qué está pasando en nuestra comunidad para hacerla mejor. Ya que sabemos que los partidos en este momento están divididos, lo que ella quiere es que las personas puedan escucharlas. Y recordemos algo, la próxima semana, todavía estamos a una semana de las elecciones, entonces yo voy a ir en persona con Kelly y vamos a estar hablando en persona. Entonces, para las personas que me están escuchando y que se están conectando en este momento, preparen sus preguntas para que ese día las podamos responder en vivo, ya que Kelly quiere trabajar con nuestra comunidad. I was telling our viewers, Kelly, that if they have a specific questions, they can send it to me. They can comment in the chat saying next week we are meeting live. We are meeting in person.
Yep.
We are doing a live with you. And then we probably can answer and address all those questions and concerns. But the most important is to go out and vote, right,
Yes.
Kelly? Because
Yes.
everyone who is watching this in English and Spanish, they need to go out and vote. Correct,
Mhm.
Kelly?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Tu voto es importante. and
Thank you,
and I'll
Kelly.
and I'll also add that I have, as I've mentioned, I have Latino, a few Latino members of the community who are helping me on my campaign. And if folks would like, if they think of a question later or something comes up, they can visit my website, which is Kelly, Kelly, for D as in dog, 33.com, Kelly for D 33.com, and contact us that way. And I'll be happy to have one of my wonderful team who speaks Spanish, is bilingual, contact them and we can answer their questions.
Thank you so much. Entonces, Kelly nos dice que usted puede visitar su página de internet, que es Kelly33. Ahí yo la voy a poner en la pantalla y voy a poner el link en los comentarios. Lastimosamente, Mila América se acaba de sentar en mi computadora y va a ser imposible ponerlo en este momento, pero voy a compartir el link de Kelly para que ustedes puedan ir allí a su página de internet y alguien de su campaña que es bilingüe puede responder esas preguntas y lógicamente nosotros lo esperamos la próxima semana y vamos a estarnos viendo el miércoles a las 7 de la noche. Thank you, Kelly. I translated to all our
Thank you.
Spanish-speaking viewers that they can
Thank you.
visit your website. My apologies. I also explained to my audience, I have a little baby cat that loves to sit down in my keyboard like I'm doing the switching. And then I'm unable right now to pull your website because she's just sitting right here. She, she is the cat
I've
who is
seen her.
always
She's
on
very
TV.
cute. Very cute.
Thank you. But our audience, they love our Wisconsin because we bring people like you who wants to make that difference in the community and want to work really hard to make a change. Thank you, Kelly, and I will see you next week in
Yes.
person. And we will talk and chat more about how we can make changes and
Mhm.
to ask people to go out and vote and to support you.
Thank you so much for having me on, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Have a good night.
You as well. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Así es que, bye.
Bye.
Nos despedimos de Kelly y le damos las gracias por haber estado con nosotros. You can just remove yourself. Thank you, Kelly. Pero hoy conocimos un poquito de una candidata política que está corriendo para el Distrito 33. Vamos a estar con ella en persona la próxima semana, así que usted vaya alistando sus preguntas y recuerde que también ya, como les mencioné al inicio del programa, ya estamos celebrando Halloween y nos vamos a Dream Venue and Events este próximo sábado a partir de las 9 de la noche. Y recuerde que si usted comparte el show de ayer, donde estuvieron los chicos de Dream Venue and Events y comparte el show de hoy y usted quiere ir a la celebración de Halloween, entonces se va a realizar allá en Menasha, Wisconsin, que empieza la fiesta a las 9 de la noche. Allí van a haber premios para el mejor disfraz y muchísimos más. El juez va a ser el público. Mi compañera Patty, la diva angelical y su servidora, vamos a estar allá en Dream Venue and Events para celebrar Halloween este próximo sábado. Y para las personas que quieran celebrar con nosotros el día de Halloween en Menasha, Wisconsin, ¿qué creen? Ellos van a regalar cubetas de cerveza a 3 personas que quieran ir allá a Menasha, Wisconsin y quieran celebrar, así como lo hizo la última vez Vicky y así como lo hizo también Marisol, que fueron las afortunadas de conocer a Marisol de los horóscopos de Durango. Así es que si usted quiere ir a Dream Venue and Events este fin de semana, entonces usted márqueme, haga un screenshot de él que está compartiendo el programa y entonces si usted quiere irse, automáticamente usted ya va a ser ganador de lo que sería ese cubetazo y van a regalar 3, van a ser 3 personas, por lo que estoy viendo aquí, que se van a regalar, que se van a ganar. Así que si usted quiere irse con nosotros, si usted vive por allá cerca de Menasha, Wisconsin, o si usted va a ir desde aquí, desde Milwaukee, Wisconsin, hasta allá, pues súper fácil. Usted me manda un screenshot a mi página de internet o me manda un screenshot a la página de Hoy Wisconsin Today y nos vemos el sábado 26 de octubre en el Halloween Party at Dreams Venue and Events, que es en el 325 Broad Street en Menasha, Wisconsin. Te mando un saludo y un abrazo, mi querida Anita Sánchez, que te estoy viendo. Te mando un abrazo. Déjame saber si te quieres ir a celebrar tú y toda tu hija, tu esposo y todos allá a Menasha, Wisconsin. Yo me voy a estar allá en Menasha, Wisconsin celebrando y recuerden que van a haber premios para el mejor disfraz. Y otra cosa que los quería invitar este fin de semana es de que usted, si quiere irse compartido, Verónica, perfecto. Entonces lo compartiste. Déjame saber si vas a ir allá a Menasha, Wisconsin, si vas a ir a celebrar Halloween, porque los chicos Osvaldo y Alexis, los dueños de Grand Dream Venue and Events, le van a regalar una cubeta a esa persona. Yo ya te tengo aquí, voy a tomar, mándame un screenshot que lo compartiste. Yo igual me imagino, si me da tiempo, lo voy a ver en tu página, pero mándenme el screenshot y si van a ir, porque me dijo Alexis y Osvaldo que los va a poner ya para que le regalen esa cubeta. Buenas noches, Verónica. No sé dónde queda. Sí, lo malo es que queda hasta Menasha, Wisconsin, que es en el 325 Broad Street, Menasha, Wisconsin. Es como 1 hora 45 minutos de aquí. Y ya le voy contando que voy a celebrar mi cumpleaños el 18 de enero, sábado, allá en Dream Venue and Events, para que se vayan preparando y se vayan conmigo. Otra de las cosas que hablamos el día de ayer con los chicos es que Rabo Music y también Masivo Productions están trayendo muchos artistas. Entonces van a traer a la DJ Carolina desde Honduras. Entonces nosotros vamos a estar regalando boletos para que usted se vaya a Dream Venue and Events allá a ver a DJ Carolina, pero también van a tener un retro party que